I'm a good man. At least I've always tried to be. The thought of hurting someone, especially someone I love, was alien to me. But we humans have a peculiar talent for becoming the very thing we despise. I mean, I never thought I'd be the sort of man who cheats on his wife. But here I am, confessing that I did just that. A few years ago, she confessed that she had cheated on me. I remember the feeling like a punch to the gut. It's a hollow, haunting sensation that crawls under your skin and stays there. But I forgave her. I thought about our kids, our life, and the love we shared. After a few stormy months, we managed to patch things up, and life went on. I thought we had moved past that chapter in our lives. Little did I know that it was only the prologue to a bigger story. It all started innocently. Lisa, an old friend from college, looked me up on Facebook. She was in town, wanted to catch up, share some old memories. Lisa was a significant part of my past, a beautiful face buried deep in my memory. Her friend request opened a time capsule filled with forgotten laughs, stolen glances, and unspoken feelings. As we started messaging, I felt a sense of nostalgia, a yearning for the carefree days of our youth. I mean, those were good times, and they carried so much less stress than the days of modern adulthood. So Lisa suggested we meet for lunch, at a place I often go to when I'm working. It was a convenient alibi. It wouldn't raise any suspicion, not with my wife, nor on our bank statements. We met, and what I had expected to be a spark turned out to be a wildfire. Seeing her brought back a rush of emotions, desires, and thoughts that I thought I had buried long ago. Apparently, the same thing was happening inside of her as well. Our lunch was filled with laughter and storytelling, old jokes and shared memories that brought with them a warmth I had not felt in a long time. We found ourselves talking about anything and everything. Our careers, our dreams, our unspoken regrets. We even spoke about our failures, about the roads we took and those we didn't. Our conversation flowed like a river, uninterrupted and untamed. We were so engrossed in each other that we barely noticed the passing time. Only the polite reminder from the restaurant staff that they were closing for the afternoon made us realize how long we'd been talking. We left, but the conversation did not end there. Our messaging increased multiple times a day, laid into the night. There was something comforting about it, something addictive. The lunches became more frequent, a pattern unnoticed by my wife, buried in her own busy schedule. Each lunch with Lisa was like a journey back in time, filled with nostalgia and a shared past. We began to explore deeper topics. Our conversations grew more intimate, more revealing. There was an undeniable pull between us, a gravity that drew us together. One day, in a surprising break from routine, Lisa invited me to her apartment for lunch. The change of venue was alarming but also exciting. It felt like we were crossing an invisible line. I knew deep down that this was a bad idea, but I ignored that voice, drowned it in the sea of justification and rationalization. The decision to step into her apartment was a momentous one, marking the end of innocence and the beginning of guilt. Once I crossed that threshold, there was no turning back. What started as a lunch filled with conversation turned into a heated romantic exchange. And now I find myself in a predicament I never thought I would be in. The guilt is relentless, a constant reminder of my failure, of the trust I've shattered. I've broken the vows that I made on our wedding day. I've shattered the trust we'd painstakingly rebuilt after her infidelity. But should I confess? Do I have the right to offload this guilt onto her to shatter our world all over again? Or do I bury this secret deep within, letting it fester and boil? I'm terrified of what this could do to our family, our kids. I've seen the devastating impact of broken trust. I've lived through it. But can she forgive me as I forgave her? Or will this be the blow that finally shatters our already fragile relationship? What should I do? Should I confess my mistake to my wife? Do you think she'll forgive me? Or am I doomed to face her wrath? All I can see right now is a future filled with uncertainty. I know I've messed up, but is there a way out? Or is this the end of the road for us? Here are a few responses that I got specialized forums. Number one, man, listen up. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You messed up big time, but you already know that confessing may seem like the right thing to do. But remember, that's going to shatter your world all over again. So ask yourself, is it about easing your guilt? Or is it about her right to know? Weigh your actions carefully, dude. Number two, I understand your predicament. this is a difficult situation to be in. In my view, honesty is always the best policy, even though it may be difficult in the short run. However, before confessing, consider seeking professional help such as couples counseling. It could provide a safe space for both of you to navigate this difficult time. Number 3, the human heart is a peculiar organ. It wants what it wants, even if that's against our moral compass. Sure, you made a mistake, but who among us hasn't? Your situation is complex given your wife's past. However, consider this. If you'd want her to tell you if the tables were turned, you should tell her to. Number 4, look, you can't turn back time and uncheat, can you? What's done is done. Focus on rebuilding your connection with your wife without burdening her with your guilt. It's not about what's easy, but what's best for her. You're human and humans mess up. Learn from this and move forward. Number 5, I'm sorry, but if you think there's any justification for what you did, you're wrong. She cheated. You forgave her. That's where it should have ended. Now you've gone and done the same thing. You owe her the truth. Brace for impact, because this is going to get ugly. But remember, it's only through honesty that you can even hope for genuine forgiveness. Here's some update of my story. Advice from the forum gave me a lot to think about, a variety of perspectives that I hadn't considered. I took some time to reflect and decided that honesty was the best course of action. I took my wife to a private place away from our home and the kids to discuss what happened. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but her reaction was much worse than I had anticipated. As soon as the words left my mouth, I saw the light leave her eyes. She was livid, hurt, and heartbroken. Her initial shock gave way to attempt to vacuizations and hurtful words. She said things that cut me deeper than anything I've ever experienced. She wants a divorce, says she can't live with the man who betrayed her trust. I begged her, pleaded with her to consider couples counseling before making any drastic decisions. After much convincing, she reluctantly agreed, but I can tell she's not optimistic about it. I can't blame her honestly, given how she took the news. As for Lisa, she's still in my life, albeit in the periphery. I've asked her to give me space to respect the storm that I'm going through. She's been understanding for the most part, but she does reach out occasionally. The connection we had, it doesn't just vanish overnight. Sometimes I feel an urge to just leave everything behind. Maybe there's no trust left to salvage. Maybe my wife will start cheating again, or perhaps she never stopped. These thoughts keep me up at night. It feels like I'm caught in a whirlwind, unable to find solid ground. It's clear that I have a lot to think about. There are no easy answers, no quick fixes. I know I've messed up, but I'm trying to make it right, or at least as right as it can be given the circumstances. As a result, my wife and I have decided to divorce. It was a mutual decision, albeit one that was born from a place of pain and betrayal. In a shocking revelation, my wife confessed that she cheated on me with 2 other men since her initial infidelity. This news came as a devastating blow, but it also clarified a lot of things for me. I'm angry, and rightly so. She was unfaithful multiple times, yet she wasn't able to offer me the same understanding and forgiveness I extended to her. There's a certain irony to that, isn't there? However, I'm also relieved. Now that all the lies and secrets are out in the open, I can start over. I no longer have to live with the guilt of my actions with Lisa. And speaking of Lisa, she's been surprisingly understanding during this time. She's given me the space I needed without any demands or pressure. Her support has been invaluable. I'm excited about the future. I know it might seem strange to say that, but it's the truth. For the first time in years, I feel like I have choices and control in my life. I'm not bound by lies or guilt anymore. I'm free to explore what I want, whether that involves seeing Lisa, dating someone new, or just spending time alone to heal and reflect. I'm still angry with my wife, especially for her inability to forgive me while she was continually betraying me. However, I'm glad that everything has played out the way it did. If this hadn't happened, I might have continued living in ignorance and dissatisfaction. In hindsight, my connection with Lisa was probably a symptom of something lacking in my life. I don't feel bad for seeking out what I needed, even though the circumstances were less than ideal. I want to thank everyone here for your advice, support, and understanding. This experience has been a roller coaster, but it's ultimately led to a newfound sense of freedom and self-discovery.